This special episode of Wheel of Albums is being recorded and broadcast from a secret location to avoid retaliation of the Robert Dimry extremists for the content that you are about to receive. With that, we present Old Woodsy's 5 Snubs from the 1001 albums you must hear before you die.
Now, with that unpleasantness over, let's go ahead and proceed to what I feel were 5 snubs from this 1001 albums list. In no particular order. Let's start off with Thin Lizzy, Jailbreak. This album came out in 1976. It has probably Thin Lizzy's best-known American songs, The Boys Are Back in Town and Jailbreak, but every song on the album is a winner. Phil Lynott was getting his poetry on big time while he was still posturing and posing, bipping and bopping with the boys down at Dino's Bar and Grill. Romeo and the Lonely Girl, Angel from the Coast, Fight or Fall, Cowboy Song. Cowboy Song had gone through some other identities before it became Cowboy Song. You can find it on some older albums, they're outtakes, but it's grown into something very, very special. It should be listened to, appreciated. Jailbreak, the album, is a huge snub as far as I'm concerned. Looking a little deeper into this, I'm really surprised. Apparently, Jailbreak has only been certified as gold in the United States. Although that means it's somewhere between 500,000 and 1 million albums, I just remember almost everybody in my neighborhood, or at least their older brothers, or uncles, or some relative having this record 8-track cassette going at some point in time, whether we be driving to the pool. We'll compare it to some Bruce Springsteen lyricism. That's true, probably, except that they were contemporaries and not master and student. A lot of, you can hear it's a lot of from Van Morrison in the lyrics, and then the use of the 2-guitar attack, if you will, although it was being done in some of the more southern style of the Allman Brothers. This was like the first rock attack double guitar. It scratches my rock and roll itch. I think it should have been on the list. How about you? Billy Joel, Glass Houses, 1980 album. Billy Joel was already becoming a popular balladeer, heartfelt song you could get married to, song you could dance with at your high school gatherings or whatnot. And he was going to take it to a little bit more rockier level, and that's exactly what he did with Glass Houses. It opens with glass breaking. You can't get more dangerous than that. He's a bad boy. On the cover, he's throwing a rock at a glass house instead of being a person living in a glass house casting stones. Billy Joel zigs when you think he's gonna zag. The big highlights on this one for me are All for Lena and Sometimes a Fantasy. Just big time rockers, I think. Just groovy, thumping beats. Love it. It's a very short album, about 32 minutes or so. Side 1, pure rock and roll. Doesn't let up, does not get off the gas pedal. Starts with You May Be Right, Sometimes a Fantasy, Don't Ask Me Why. It's still rock and roll to me, and then wraps up that side with All for Lena. Second side goes a little bit slower, a little more lovey-dovey, and he even throws in a little French for C'est toi, you were the one, in parentheses. I feel it's a snub. This next one, iconic songs, incredibly popular record, and probably one of the most recognizable covers ever in music. I can only be talking about Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass, Whipped Cream and Other Delights. Over 6 million copies in America, but not on this list. Soundtracks for the Dating Game. You got 2 songs from this album are on the Dating Game, and you don't make the list. There's not even any other artists that are on the list that have had songs on the Dating Game. That's messed up. The big one for me on this one's Lollipops and Roses. That's been on my Steeler football playlist, pregame playlist for decades, and it's never coming off. The Steelers are winning, and Herb Alpert's a winner. Robert Dimery did make a mistake on this one. On this next one, I wasn't sure if it was an oversight due to the timing of the album and when the list was generated, but through my very reliable source, JHO, we've determined that this, in fact, was a snub. And we're talking about the album, self-titled, Them Crooked Vultures. This album came out in 2009, had a big push because of the members. The members of the band are Josh Homme, Dave Grohl, and John Paul Jones. You may have heard of each of their prior bands, or maybe not. Those ones made the list, I'm sure, Mr. Dimery, or Dimery, however that's pronounced. Nevertheless, one of the best reviews said it has nasty riffs and sticky melodies are everywhere. You just gotta leave that out there. Nasty riffs and sticky melodies are everywhere. If you can't walk around without getting a sticky melody or a nasty riff, that sounds like a recipe for an album that should be on 1001 albums you must hear before you die. That is a snub. Them Crooked Vultures, 2009, highly recommended. All right, and that takes us to the fifth snub, which is a band that also does appear on the list, but not this album. The band is X, and the album is Los Angeles. That's their debut album. That's from 1980. It has staples of still current X shows. It has the title track, Los Angeles, Sex and Dying in High Society, The Unheard Music, Your Phone's Off the Hook But You're Not, Johnny Hit and Run Pauline, and Nausea. And there's still some other hits in there, or songs that are familiar to X fans. This isn't the first X album I heard. That was Under the Big Black Sun, and that made me go backwards. And this is just solid, solid, solid. As a matter of fact, X's run of their first four albums, Los Angeles, Wild Gift, Under the Big Black Sun, and More Fun in the New World, incomprehensible that a band could put out those four solid records back to back to back to back, all within 4 years, 1980 to 1983. Amazing. Everything X touched during those 4 years should have been on this list. That is a big-time snub that Los Angeles by X is not on the list of 1001 albums you must hear before you die.
What do you think? Those 5 albums Jack just threw out there, are those 5 great snubs? I happen to think they all definitely are good snubs that you picked out there. But we want to know what you, the listener, thinks too. Is there other albums that you think should be on the list of 1001 albums you must hear before you die? Look it up. It's by Robert Dimery. We spin the wheel here, and then we listen to what's in the book. But anytime you see a list, you always think, like, why is that not there? Why is Los Angeles by X not on this list? Wild Gift is a good album, but you know, you can go on and on about stuff like that in your head. We are 20 episodes in to season 1. This is our special episode, is what you would call it for this season. We'll get back at it. Episode 21 next Monday. Pronounced Leonard Skin Nerd is what we'll be talking about for the next episode. In the meantime, this is airing Memorial Day. If you're here in America, we hope you're having a wonderful holiday. If you're in Indiana, like myself, hopefully you had a great time at the Indy 500 yesterday. For my brother Adam and Jack, I'm Justin. Thanks for listening to Wheel of Albums. Have a great week.